I woke up with the taste of oranges on my tongue and the certainty that my name was not my own. The ceiling above me was unfamiliar, cracks shaped like river deltas, a slow-spinning fan clicking once every rotation. Sunlight leaked through curtains I didn't recognize, turning dust into a drifting galaxy. I lay still, afraid that movement would shatter something fragile and borrowed. When I lifted my hand, it trembled, but it was my hand. Same scar near the thumb, same faint ink stain on the middle finger from a pen that had leaked months ago. Yet inside my head, another life was already standing, breathing, waiting to be noticed. There was a woman humming in the kitchen. The tune tugged at me with a feeling that wasn't memory exactly, more like a muscle remembering how to stretch. I knew the rhythm. I knew the way she would pause before the chorus, as if listening for someone else to join in. I knew the smell of the tea she was brewing and the chipped mug she preferred, blue with a hairline crack. None of it belonged to me. I sat up, heart hammering, and the room swayed. A photograph on the bedside table caught my eye, a boy of about 10 grinning with his 2 front teeth missing, arms flung around the shoulders of the woman from the kitchen. The edges of the photo were softened by years of being touched. My chest ached, sharp and sudden, as if something inside me had been briefly pressed and released. Her name came to me without effort. Safia. The name landed gently, like a bird on a branch. It didn't displace anything, it just settled there. Along with it came 1,000 small certainties. Safia never ate the crusts of bread, Safia cried at radio dramas, Safia believed kindness was a practice like prayer, something you did daily, not something you felt once and declared finished. I swung my legs off the bed and stood, steadying myself against the dresser. The mirror reflected a stranger who was also me. Same face, same sleep-creased cheek, same eyes, but behind them, there was a depth that hadn't been there before, a warmth like a lamp left on in a room I'd never entered. In the kitchen, Safia looked up as I hovered in the doorway. She smiled, and the smile reached places in me that were newly installed. "Morning," she said. "You slept through the rain." I opened my mouth. My voice came out carefully, as if it were glass. "Morning." She poured tea, slid a plate of toast toward me. "Eat," she said, the word weighted with care. "You forget when you're thinking too hard." I sat. The toast was buttered unevenly, corners dry. I bit into it and tasted oranges again, remembered peeling them at this same table, juice sticky on my fingers. I remembered a different morning entirely, a hospital corridor smelling of antiseptic, Safia clutching a plastic bag with oranges inside because the nurse said vitamin C helped. I remembered the boy from the photo, older now, lying pale and brave under fluorescent lights. The memory ended abruptly, like a door closing. "Are you all right?" Safia asked. "Yes," I said, because the word felt like a promise. After breakfast, I stepped outside. The neighborhood was quiet, washed clean by rain. I knew which paving stones were loose and which dog barked without ever biting. I knew that at the corner lived an old man who refused help until it was offered 3 times, and that the woman across the street hid coins in her potted plants because she didn't trust banks. The memories weren't loud. They didn't push. They waited, like hands extended but not grasping. I walked until my legs remembered a route before my mind did, stopping in front of a small shop with a faded sign. Inside, shelves sagged with jars and spools of thread. A bell rang when I entered, and a man looked up from behind the counter. His hair a silver halo. "You're early," he said. "Safia usually comes on Thursdays." I nodded, unsure what version of myself he was seeing. He handed me a parcel wrapped in brown paper. "Tell her thank you," he said. "For yesterday." "For what?" I asked. He smiled, a little embarrassed. "For sitting with me. The afternoons get long." The memory slid into place, Safia perched on a stool, listening to the man tell stories he'd told before, laughing as if they were new. I felt the weight of the kindness, not as a burden but as a mantle, something warm that asked to be worn forward, not returned. When I brought the parcel home, Safia looked surprised. "I didn't ask you to go," she said. "I wanted to," I replied, and realized it was true. That afternoon, I sorted through her papers while she napped. Old receipts, handwritten notes, a stack of letters tied with string. I didn't open them. It felt wrong, like reading someone's pulse without permission. But I noticed patterns, lists with stars beside certain names, time scribbled and circled. Kindness, organized into a quiet system. At dusk, a knock came at the door. A girl stood there, thin and wary, clutching a folder. "My mother said Safia could help," she said. Safia was asleep, breathing shallowly. Without thinking, I ushered the girl in, made tea the way Safia did. The girl spread out forms, her hands shaking. I listened, nodded, found words that weren't mine and yet fit. We filled the forms together. When she left, her shoulders were lower, as if she'd put something down. Safia woke later, the room smelling of tea and relief. "Did I miss someone?" she asked. "A girl," I said. We finished the forms. Safia studied me, her eyes searching. Then she smiled, softer than before. "You learn fast," she said, and squeezed my hand. That night, the memories came in dreams. Not scenes, but sensations, the ache of standing too long, the comfort of a familiar bus route, the quiet pride of seeing someone else succeed. I woke with tears on my face and the certainty that something precious was on a timer. In the days that followed, I learned the shape of the borrowed life. Safia's heart was tired. Her body had begun to ration strength the way a careful person rations money. She knew. She didn't say it aloud, but the knowledge was folded into everything she did, like a note tucked into a pocket. "Why me?" I asked the air one evening, afraid to ask her. The answer came not as words, but as a memory of Safia sitting beside a stranger on a bus, offering half an orange because it was easier to be kind than to look away. Kindness, I realized, didn't belong to a single person. It moved. It found hosts. It left marks. When the doctor finally said the words, Safia nodded as if she'd been expecting them. I held her hand and felt the borrowed memories align themselves, like birds finding a direction. "Don't look like that," she said to me later, in the kitchen that felt more mine now than my own. "You'll make me feel guilty." "I don't know how to do this," I admitted. "You do," she said. "You've been doing it." The last memory came on a morning that smelled of rain. Safia asked me to read to her. My voice shook, but the words steadied me. Halfway through, she closed her eyes. "Promise me something," she said, not opening them. "Anything." "Keep going," she said. "Not for me. For them." When she died, the memories didn't leave all at once. They loosened slowly, like knots untied with care. Some stayed. Some faded. What remained was not a list or a map, but a habit. Weeks later, I found myself sitting in the small shop, listening to the silver-haired man tell a story I'd already heard. I laughed anyway. I helped the woman across the street with her coins. I waited on the bus and offered half an orange to a stranger whose eyes were tired. Sometimes, when I wake, the taste of oranges surprises me. Sometimes, I hum a tune and pause before the chorus, listening for someone else to join in. I don't know where the memories end and I begin. I only know that when kindness moves through me, it feels like waking up in the right place, even if it was never meant to be mine.